You've been taught to chase the light, to reach beyond the horizon for answers, to accumulate titles, tokens, technologies, as if the soul were a ledger that grew rich from the outside in. But the ancient ones knew what we have forgotten. They whispered truths into stones sealed in emerald tablets, left not for the eyes, but for the soul to decipher. And in those inscriptions echoed one enduring revelation: all is mind. The universe is mental. You are not merely in the world, you are projecting it. In our modern yearning, we mistake reflection for source, like a wanderer confusing the shimmering water in the mirror for a spring. We try to drink from the surface of things. We chase relationships to heal loneliness, success to mend our sense of worth, accolades to secure our identity. But nothing external can ever quench the inner fire, because the outer is born from the inner. This is not metaphor. It is the first law. Mentalism. What you believe you see, what you habitually feel, becomes substance. What you attend to takes root. Imagine walking through a hall of mirrors and growing angry at the faces staring back. You might scream at the glass polish. The frames even swap mirrors, thinking the problem lies in the surface. But the reflection changes only when you do. This is the sacred reversal, the alchemical U-turn that all initiates must eventually make, not out of guilt or punishment, but out of spiritual necessity. The way forward is inward. Thoth, that ancient master of wisdom, taught that creation and is seated in thought, colored by vibration, and bound into form by law. And so you begin here, not by grasping, but by observing. Witness your world. What stories do you keep repeating? What patterns feel too consistent to be coincidence? Pause. Notice. These are not accidents. They are messages lovingly encoded by your higher self. You are not cursed. You are not broken. You are simply in a dance with your own resonance. Begin now with presence. Not dramatic action, not forced positivity, just attention. Become aware of how your inner state orchestrates the song of your life. Sit with a memory that makes you ache and see how that ache echoes through your choices, the people you're drawn to, the paths you reject. Begin to sense the weaving. A woman once came to a teacher lamenting her endless betrayals in love. "Why do men always leave me?" she cried. "Why do I always feel unseen?" The teacher did not give her strategy nor blame her lovers. He simply said, "What in you keeps choosing the reflection of abandonment?" She sat in silence. Then she began to remember her father's coldness, her own mistrust of warmth. The script etched so deeply into her thoughts, she thought it was fate. And then she wept, not from despair, but recognition. This is the first transmutation. Not changing the world, but awakening to the truth that the world is your echo. Mentalism is not an abstract principle. It is the very clay of your reality. To master it, you must slow down enough to see the mold of your thoughts, shaping the sculpture of your days. So today, whisper gently to yourself, "I am not a victim of my life. I am the artisan of its unfolding." Let this truth pierce the illusion of helplessness. Let it dissolve the old habit of blame. Let it breathe space into the corners of your being that still feel small. You are not small. You are the axis around which your universe turns. The alchemy of thought begins not with knowledge, but with remembrance. Not effort, but stillness. And as you come back to your breath, your awareness, your divine authorship, the mirror ceases to mock you. It begins to serve you. Because now you are looking not into it, but through it. There is a river beneath your words, beneath your actions, even beneath your thoughts. It is the river of emotion, moving in sacred currents, pulsing with the rhythm of your soul's song. You've been told to master your emotions, to conquer them, suppress them, rise above them. But what if emotion is not your weakness, but your compass? What if, like a tuning fork for your vibration, it sings the truth of your alignment long before the mind catches up? Emotion is energy in motion. It is not static, not judgmental, not final. It is a messenger, not a verdict. The ancient alchemists knew this. They did not run from their feelings, nor drown in them. They listened. They transmuted. For to feel deeply is not to be ruled by feeling, it is to be fluent in the sacred language of vibration. Recall the second Hermetic principle: as within, so without, as above, so below. Emotion bridges the within and the without. It is the barometer of your energetic state, revealing what you are calling in before it arrives. If thought is the architect of reality, emotion is the electric current that animates the design. Thought sketches the form, but emotion charges it with life. When you feel shame, you are not failing. You are being shown where love has not yet been fully anchored. When you feel anger, you are touching the edge of your integrity where something needs to be reclaimed or redirected. And when you feel sure, you are vibrating in resonance with truth, alignment, and presence. But the modern world has taught you to label emotions as good or bad, desirable or inconvenient. We praise joy, but judge grief. We seek peace, but banish rage. In doing so, we fracture the wholeness of our being. We amputate parts of the soul and wonder why we feel incomplete. The true alchemist sees no hierarchy in feeling only frequency, only information. Consider a man who day after day pushes down his sadness. He tells himself to be strong, to focus on the positive, to move on. But the sadness does not disappear. It transmutes into restlessness, then fatigue, then disconnection. It becomes a background hum of numbness. Until one day, sitting alone in silence, a single tear escapes, and with it, the dam breaks. In that moment of surrender, he feels not weak, but real. Not broken, but whole. He is meeting himself again, and emotion has been the doorway. This is emotional alchemy, not changing the feeling, but honoring it, listening to it, allowing it to rise, and then shifting its frequency by choice, not suppression. You are not meant to be at the mercy of your feelings, but neither are you meant to exile them. Instead, you become the vessel through which feeling flows and is purified. How do you transmute emotion into higher vibration? Begin by naming it softly without judgment. Say, "There is sadness here," or "There is grief moving through me." This simple act of witnessing begins the alchemical fire. Then breathe into it. Feel where it lives in the body. Is it tight in the chest? Heavy in the belly? Let breath soften its edges. Then ask, what is this feeling showing me about where my thoughts have been. What truth is this vibration revealing? From here, choose not to reject the feeling, but to gently elevate it. Can sorrow become stillness? Can anger become clarity? Can longing become devotion? Every emotion holds within it the seed of a higher octave. You do not destroy, the lower you refine it, like turning lead into gold. Let this be your practice. Do not fear emotion. Feel it, name it, listen, breathe, choose, and above all, love it. Even rage longs to be seen. Even shame waits for your forgiveness. When you hold your feelings like sacred children, they stop screaming. They begin to sing. This is how you become a master of vibration, not through force, but through tenderness. Not by resisting emotion, but by dancing with it. For in every wave of feeling is the pulse of your divine alchemy, whispering, you're alive. You are energy. You are becoming. There is no true separation, only degrees. No absolute cold, only less heat. No total darkness, only the absence of light. The ancient Hermeticists knew this, and so they etched into consciousness the third principle, the principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has its pair of opposites. And between those poles lies a spectrum, a sacred continuum upon which all transformation unfolds. You have not been taught this. You've been taught in absolutes, that you are either successful or failing, peaceful or angry, enlightened or lost. But the soul does not move. In binaries, it flows. Your emotions, your thoughts, your frequency, they are not stuck, but shifting. Always. What you call bad is not wrong. It is simply nearer to one pole. And what you long for is not elsewhere. It is already here, latent in the same axis, waiting for your attention to slide the needle toward resonance. Imagine emotion as temperature. When you are in fear, you are not in a separate category from love. You are simply far along the scale in a denser vibration. Love is not the opposite of fear. It is its transmutation. The same energy elevated. This is the essence of alchemy. To the unawakened, this law feels cruel. Why do I fall into despair when I want joy? But the initiate sees the gift. If all states are connected, then all states are shiftable. You are never truly trapped. You are simply positioned on a spectrum you haven't yet learned to navigate. Picture a pendulum, swinging from joy to sorrow, confidence to doubt, elation to grief. The swing is natural, but the alchemist does not merely ride the pendulum. They observe its rhythm. They begin to influence it, not by suppression or denial, but by conscious redirection of attention and meaning. Take grief, for example. In its rawest form, it can feel like an abyss, swallowing all light. But grief, seen through the lens of polarity, is not the absence of love. It is the presence of it wounded. Grief arises because love once lived and still longs to flow. When you see grief as love's shadow, you can cradle it. You can breathe with it. And slowly, your awareness begins to tilt the pole, from agony to honor, from ache to reverence. The pain softens not because it is gone, but because it has been seen through new eyes. In practical terms, this means your power lies in how you frame your reality. What story are you telling about your situation? Are you seeing yourself as abandoned or initiated, as punished or purified? The event may not change, but your vibration, your alignment with meaning, absolutely can. A woman wakes to find her life has unraveled. Her partner gone, her work collapsed, her body ill. At first she weeps, rages, curses fate. But then something shifts. She stops asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begins asking, "What is this awakening in me?" And in that moment, she moves from victim to vessel, from entropy to evolution. She hasn't denied her pain, she has transmuted her position within it. This shift is subtle but sacred. The language of polarity is not loud. It is a whisper, an inner invitation to lean toward the light when darkness surrounds you, not by leaping across the spectrum, but by taking the next vibrational step. From apathy to curiosity, from anger to clarity, from bitterness to longing. No leap is required, only direction. To work with this law, try this. The next time you feel consumed by a low vibration, pause. Name the feeling. Then ask, what is its opposite? Where does that live in my memory, my body, my breath? Now imagine that frequency. Let it rise, not as fantasy, but as frequency. Speak to it. I remember peace. I am open to guidance. I allow myself to lean toward the lighter pole. This is not denial. This is direction. The sacred art of shifting. You are not bound to one frequency. You are a scale, a song. And polarity is not your prison. It is your portal. There is a secret nestled within the very fabric of existence, whispered now by physicists, but long ago known by sages and scribes. It is this: what you observe, you influence. What you believe, you materialize. What you expect, you meet. The universe does not move independently of you. It responds to you, not passively, intimately, devotionally. This is not poetic fantasy. This is the fourth law of Hermetics embodied. Everything vibrates. Everything responds to frequency, and the observer and the observed are one. Imagine a flame, the quantum fire that animates every particle, flickering with infinite potential. At any moment, reality is not fixed. It is a field, a vast sea of probabilities. Every thought you think, every belief you hold selects from this sea, like a hand plucking a pearl from water. Your reality crystallizes not by accident, but by attunement. And so the question is no longer, what is real? But rather, what frequency am I tuning into with my consciousness? You are not separate from the world. You are the lens through which it collapses into form. You are the experimenter, the artist, the divine dreamer whose gaze turns possibility into experience. This is the sacred fire within you, the awareness that shapes the dance of atoms, of timelines, of destinies. Consider this: a man begins his day believing the world is hostile. He notices every frustration, traffic delay, irritation. The world to him confirms his view. But another waking from the same city street holds a quiet prayer in his chest. I meet only reflections of my peace. He walks gently. He sees kindness. A stranger smiles. A door is held open. Did reality change? Or did the lens of consciousness select a different thread from the quantum weave? In both cases, the observer is not passive. They are alchemizing perception into experience. This is not to blame, but to empower. Your gaze is not neutral. Your attention is a wand, a tuning fork, a sculptor's hand. You have been casting spells with your focus all your life. So how do you awaken to this power? Begin by reclaiming the still point, the pause between stimulus and reaction. That is the fulcrum of creation. In that pause, ask, what story am I feeding? What frequency am I energizing? Then choose again. To cultivate this awareness, build small rituals. Speak blessings over your morning water. Infuse your coffee with intention. Before you enter a meeting or a room, whisper, I bring coherence into this space. These are not superstitions. They are acts of vibrational authorship. Like Thoth, you inscribe the laws into the ether through presence. And when chaos rises, as it will, do not collapse into it. Become the observer again. See the story trying to pull you in. Name it. Witness its grip. Then shift. I do not react. I respond with sacred authorship. In this way, the alchemical fire is stoked not through force, but through remembrance. Even the body responds to this frequency. Studies reveal what mystics have always known. Cells heal faster with coherent intention, with loving thought, with belief in wholeness. The observer creates the body's truth. You are not merely a vessel. You are the conductor of its music. Your emotions, then, are not disruptions. They are guides. They show you what station you're tuned to, and you can change the dial, not by resisting what you feel, but by realizing you are not trapped by it. You are always holding the dial. Think of this world as a quantum mirror. Every thought sends out a ripple. Every ripple reflects back form. The universe is not punishing or rewarding, it is mirroring. Your inner state made visible. You are not waiting for life to change. You are selecting the version of life that aligns with your frequency. Every coincidence is a convergence. Every miracle is a match. Let that in. Let it awaken the fire in your belly, the thrill of remembrance. You are not powerless. You are the axis, the lens, the field. You are the alchemist of the real. What is knowledge, if not lived? What is truth, if not breathed into each step, each gaze, each silence between words? The ancient texts, the sacred scrolls, the emerald etchings, they are not relics to revere from afar. They are mirrors, asking not for admiration, but embodiment. To live the law is to become the flame, not a follower of wisdom, but its living breath. The final and perhaps most elusive realization is this: you are not here to apply Hermetic law. You are here to be it, not conceptually, but cellularly. Every word you speak, every gesture you offer, every inner dialogue you choose is a spell, a frequency, a creation. The alchemist does not wait for the perfect moment to wield this truth. They begin now, in the mundane, in the forgotten corners of life where most are sleepwalking. To embody the Hermetic flame is not to escape the world, but to walk through it as sacred fire. Not to deny your humanity, but to honor it as divine medium. You are not here to transcend your body, your emotions, your relationships. You are here to illuminate them, to become the philosopher's stone, not in seclusion, but in motion. The Kybalion teaches that all is in all, and all is in the all. This is not a riddle. This is reality. When you drink water, bless it. When you feel tension, listen. When you speak, do so with the awareness that your voice is vibration dancing into form. Let your life become ritual, not out of performance, but remembrance. There is an old story of a sage who, when asked why he did not retreat to the mountains to seek enlightenment, replied, "Because the market is my monastery, the crying child, my bell of mindfulness, the stranger's frown, my koan." In this way, he embodied the alchemy. He transmuted daily friction into daily awakening. You can too. Begin with presence. If someone triggers you, do not seek to fix them. Ask, what in me is being called to transmute? This does not mean you condone harm. It means you reclaim sovereignty. You become responsible, not reactive. You become the flame that warms, not burns. Then integrate the principles as inner alignment mentalism. Choose your thoughts as if they sculpt matter, because they do. Correspondence. See the patterns above, mirrored below. Let your breath inform your week. Let your home reflect your mind. Vibration tune daily. What frequency are you emitting? Adjust with gentleness, not force. Polarity. Remember that every low contains its high. Lean toward the lighter end with compassion. Rhythm. Honor your cycles. Rest when ebbing, act when flowing. Trust the pendulum. Cause and effect. Accept no randomness. You are the cause, not the echo. Gender. Merge your inner masculine and feminine intention and intuition, action, and stillness. This is not a checklist. It is a living current. A pulse you return to when you forget, as all do. The path is not linear. It spirals like the DNA within you, always bringing you back to the same truths at deeper and more luminous levels. And yes, there will be days you falter, days when the weight feels too thick, the mirror too dark. In those moments, do not seek to be spiritual. Seek to be real. Cry. Rest. Place your hands on your chest and whisper, "Even now I am becoming." That softness is part of the flame too. Fire purifies, but it also warms. Let your life become a temple, not built of stone but of intention. Let every conversation be a prayer, every challenge an initiation, every breath a vow to stay awake. Not in perfection, but in presence. You are the flame. The Hermetic current moves through you, not because you read the words, but because you remember them, because you lived them, because you are them. The alchemist is not a figure of the past. The alchemist is you walking through the world with eyes that see vibration, with words that cast harmony, with a heart that pulses in correspondence with the all. And when others ask, "What are you doing differently?" you will not need to answer. Your frequency will answer for you. Your peace will speak volumes. Your joy will be a map. You are the living scroll, the fire, the echo of Thoth's eternal whisper. Become the light you seek. And so we arrive not at an end, but at a turning point. The kind that doesn't change the world outside, but the way you walk through it. You've remembered now what was never truly lost, that you are not merely a thinker of thoughts, but a weaver of worlds. You are not a victim of emotion, but its interpreter, its alchemist. You do not wait for alignment. You tune yourself like an instrument of sacred resonance. This is the alchemy of thought. Not a concept, but a way of being. The transmutation of emotion into higher vibration is not a task to be completed, but a frequency to return to again and again, like a sacred breath. With every heartbeat, you choose your vibration. With every glance, you ripple reality. With every pause to remember, you awaken the ancient within. So breathe now. Feel your own presence. Let it settle into your bones like a promise. You are not becoming powerful. You already are. You are not finding the flame. You are the flame. And if this touched you, if something stirred, remembered, or softened within, leave a comment. Whisper your awakening into the field. Subscribe to stay on the path. Let us continue this great remembering together.